Welcome to Chentex Multimedia live stream, streaming directly to your device all the way from beautiful Brisbane. And today we have lots to talk about. We are going to look at the Cross River Rail and get the updates on what's happening there and what's happening with the Queensland jobs. And of course, in today's feature, we will be featuring Shaurabh Cricket. And of course, looking at the academy and looking at the training, we'll bring to you that live interview. And of course, we will also be looking at the news in brief. So as we know that there's lots happening with the vaccination out and people are getting vaccinated. So a bit busy on that front. But right now, it's already the second day of March. Well, once you passed first, you never know. And as soon as you blink your eye, the month's gone. But right now, let's take a very quick look and look at what's happening with the weather for today. With that, let's welcome Dilraj.
Good morning, everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 33 degree. Brisbane area is mostly sunny this morning. There are medium chances of shower and there is a chance of thunderstorm during the afternoon and evening. Light winds becoming easterly 15 to 20 km per hour and then becoming light in the late evening. Fire danger is high. Sun protection is recommended till 40 past 3 and UV index is predicted to reach 11, that is extreme. Till tomorrow, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you very much for that update, Dilraj. And as we know, the weather is pretty good around this time of the year, and I reckon March is a pretty good month, and it is always a bit pleasing out there. Well, right now, as I said, we will look at the news in brief first, and then we will also look at the interview for today. Well, right now, if we look at the news for today, let's look at what's happening and what's making news. So with that, first of all, we will look at what's happening locally, then we will look at what's happening on a global scale. In this update, what we will look at is the federal government is considering its response to the final Royal Commission report into aged care, and Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull urged the cabinet to, at the centre of the historical rape allegation, to front up the final report from Victoria's Mental Health Royal Commission will be delivered today, and farmers are expected to reap a record 66 billion for the produce this year. PM says minister named in the anonymous letter absolutely rejects the allegations of rape. Scott Morrison dismissed calls for the Prime Minister to be stood aside while the allegation is being investigated. Prime Minister Scott Morrison says a cabinet minister named an anonymous letter alleging the rape of a woman in 1980 absolutely rejects the allegation. The letter, sent to several members of parliament, alleges that the woman was raped in 1988 by a man, now a minister in the federal government. How Morrison government chooses to handle the complaint will go to the heart of trust, transparency and integrity of the nation's institutions. North Queensland locals brace for storm as it treks closer. From residents in North Queensland are being impacted by strong winds and heavy rainfall from a low expected to form into the tropical cyclone Niran. Labor is concerned the government won't act on the alleged Royal Commission. The Shadow Minister for Aged Care says he is concerned the government won't be acting fully on the Royal Commission recommendation for the aged care sector. For years now, we have been hearing successive governments claim they would fix up the neglect and abuse in Australia's child aged care facilities. Despite those promises year after year, there is story after story of more and more of the same. So, it just hasn't changed. Northern Territory will seek the slogan, "Be different." The new tourism campaign wants to draw tourists to the Northern Territory with the slogan, "Seek different." So, that is wonderful to see that the people are heading off into the Northern Territory as it's a wonderful area to be looked at. And royal judgment, the Crown dominates the Golden Globe Awards. Emma Corrin Josh O'Connor and Gillian Anderson have all scored nods for their portrayals of Princess Diana, Prince Charles and the former UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Police fire tear gas at protesters in Yangon. Police in Myanmar's biggest city, Yangon, fired tear gas to disperse hundreds of protesters on Monday. Protesters, including dozens of monks, took to the streets of Mandalay in Myanmar a day after security forces opened fire on the mass arrest. They broke up the demonstrations against the military's seizure of power. Interest rates and bond markets will be seen. House prices rise fastest rate since 2003. First home buyer incentives and a record low interest rate have caused Australia's property prices to surge in a month. Australian house prices post their biggest monthly increase in nearly 2 decades, with analysts saying the market is now entrenched in one of the strongest growth phases on record. And we will look at all that in great detail tomorrow with Usha Chandra of GlobeNet Realty, and we'll look at what else is happening in the market, in this very heated market. Commonwealth Bank's Martin Whitten says the rising government bond returns are putting pressure on interest rates, and NAB Chair Phillips Goronian says business should lead the economic recovery. Phillips says National Australia Bank will compete head-and-head with Commonwealth Bank as part of a business-led economic recovery. More protesters killed in Myanmar. Military forces opened fire on crowds of peaceful demonstrators, and United Nations says it expects the death toll to rise. Monzo Ford reports protesters gather outside Hong Kong court for activist trial. Protesters have gathered outside a Hong Kong courthouse where 47 democracy activists have been tried and charged for subversion. China detains dozens of Hong Kong pro-democracy activists. Protests have defied a political crackdown in Hong Kong to support pro-democracy activists in trial under the new national law, Bill Cattle says. And China's President Xi Jinping is a force to be reckoned with. As a leader of the communists, he commands the world's attention, but is China's strongman? Who is he? How did he rise to the power? And what is his agenda? Specialists warn the country like Australia are too slow to understand the challenge posed by the rise of President Xi Jinping. Prominent China scholars say that China has already fundamentally rewritten international rule book. The question is, how will the rest of the world respond? And Chadwick Boseman's widow accepted posthumous Golden Globe Award. Taylor Shimon Reward honored her late husband in an emotional acceptance speech after he won the Best Actor for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Chloe Zhao is the first Chinese woman to be awarded the Golden Globe for the Best Director in a Motion Picture. And as I said before, monks have joined the anti-demonstration protest in Myanmar. Now, the last news, Donald Trump leaves the door open. He has made his first formal appearance since leaving office in January 20, addressing the Consecutive Political Arm Conference, CPAC, in Orlando, Florida. He spent much of his speech reasserting his claims that he won the 2020 election and is slamming Joe Biden. And what else would you expect? So, that is much expected that that's what he would say. Well, right now, moving on, let's take a look at some of the news for today. The first up, let's look at the Cross River Rail and let's gauge the progress and see how it is progressing.
Cross River Rail at one of our wonderful new stations, and there's been a lot of excitement, and Minister Bailey has already been down 6 stories below where we are, and where the cabin for the new Roma Street station is actually being built. This is vital infrastructure. It's part of our $5.6 billion Cross River Rail construction. It's thousands of jobs, but what is also fundamental here is that this is the type of infrastructure that is needed for a 2032 Olympics. So when you're talking about what's needed for the future, this is part of the transport infrastructure that will be needed, and our government is getting on and building this project. So the station will be 27 metres below ground level. It will have 220 metre long platforms, And by 2036, there should be 46,000 people expected to use this station alone every weekday. And it's a vital hub here, and it's going to be like the equivalent of like a grand central station. So it's very exciting looking at the design, meeting the young apprentices that are also involved in this very necessary project. But at the end of the day, this is about jobs. This is the future. When you're talking about the southeast Queensland and what's needed for the future, looking towards an Olympics as well, it's vital infrastructure that is needed and is necessary, and it's keeping people in jobs right now as we speak. So I'll hand over to Mark Bailey. He can give you a first-hand account of what it's like 6 stories underground, and then we'll hear from Graham and Grace, and we're happy to take some questions. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks so much, Premier. Look, fantastic to join the Premier, Minister Grace, Graham Newton, the CEO, here at the Roma Street station box and construction site. Very exciting, 6 stories down. It is absolutely epic down there. The roof of the station box is largely in place. It's going to be a 250 metre platform there. We've done nearly 400 metres, nearly 4 football fields long of tunnelling down there already, and this is going to be something that Brisbane, it'll have a wow factor for Brisbane passengers when it's complete and those trains are coming through, having our first genuine underground line in Brisbane and for the whole of southeast Queensland. A lot of commuters coming in from the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast, Ipswich every day. They'll be able to, for the first time, change lines here, from the existing line to the new line. The Inner Northern Busway also comes in here, so the Roma Street station will be one of the busiest public transport hubs in Brisbane and servicing the whole of southeast Queensland. What is really exciting is to see 2,400 people have incomes right now because of the Cross River Rail project. That will increase to 3,000 this year. We've got 180 apprentices and trainees who have been on the job so far, and that will escalate to 450. So the training here is fantastic, with more than $4 million a day going into the economy at a time when we really need it in terms of our plan for recovery from the COVID pandemic. So I can't talk about this Cross River Rail project enough in terms of the positive impacts it will have. We're seeing people come to Queensland and southeast Queensland again in large numbers because of the pandemic, so we're getting the infrastructure in place ahead of time so that we can move people around efficiently, and this Roma Street area will be a phenomenal piece of infrastructure, and seeing it emerge underground, it is really quite extraordinary. The pictures are amazing.
So it is amazing, and it is wonderful to see that this kind of projects taking off, and as mentioned that there's a lot of work, and it's good to see that quite a lot of apprentices have been hired and trainees are getting their traineeship done there as well. Let's hear from some of the people who have had jobs in places like this and what it really means for them.
Hi, my name is Sharon Hosseini, and I work as an area engineer for Delivery Authority at Cross River Rail Project. So what we're doing here at the moment is cutting the rocks by the road headers, and that's for the preparation of the tunnel boring machine to come from the Wollongabba to Albert Street and from Albert Street to here at Roma Street Tunnel. This project means a lot to me. I came here in Australia in 2005 as a refugee, and being part of this project and shaping Brisbane's future, it definitely means a lot to me, and being home every night definitely means a lot to my family and friends as well. Oh, it gets my mom emotional all the time.
Oh, really?
Brisbane always been my hometown, Brisbane always been my city.
So good to see that, coming from a refugee background, but right now gainfully employed, and working in the Cross River Rail right down the tunnel there, and doing the hard yakka. So it is good to see that people are given that opportunity, and when they assimilate within the community and make a meaningful contribution to the economic recovery and to the prosperity of the state and of Australia at large. So that is just so wonderful to see. Right now, it's time to have a message from one of our sponsors.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, Trusted and respected agency in its trade area, Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very special segment where we have a conversation with Shaurabh Kumar from Shaurabh Cricket Coaching. Welcome to the show, Shaurabh.
Thank you so much.
And it's wonderful to have you back in the studio, and good to see that there's so much happening out there.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on, we were talking about last time about all this ways of teaching and coaching and all the things that sort of cricket coaching does. So as we know, everyone's different, as they say, different people have different tongues and different tongues have different tastes. And accordingly, people have different ways of learning. So what are the different styles of coaching that Shaurabh Cricket uses?
So in Shaurabh Cricket Coaching, we use in-depth analysis of their game and then provide them instructions with some reasoning behind it, which helps a lot of young cricketers to adopt the techniques. And then some kids like to learn just by seeing visually and by practicing it more number of times. For the young adults, we use a coaching style where we involve more question based once more about asking them and helping them to coach themselves, that when they are in the middle and if something's not working, they can help themselves rather than feeling low in confidence. Yeah, so those are mostly the styles.
So that's wonderful to see that, that's also the question based. Well, you get to, the people who are getting trained, you get to know, okay, what area do they need training in. So that's great. Now, of course, yes.
I believe in more guiding and facilitating the youngsters to become a better people first and then a player in that order.
And that is a very good order because, if they become a good person, they will always become a good player as well. So in this day and age, there's so much talk and so much happening, and rightfully so. It's about the females, the ladies and the girls and females coming out into all kind of fields as well. So, and cricket is no exception. So, do you or does Shaurabh Cricket provide training for female cricketers?
Yes, we absolutely do that. It's quite pleasing to see how many parents are encouraging their daughters in the game of cricket. Girls have lot of potential. They learn very well. They play amazingly well. We have example of Australian cricket team, them beating records in bowling, batting. There was Alyssa Healy in last year who got triple figures in 46 balls. Then there is Deandra from West Indies who scored 100 of 38 balls. So those are amazing figures to reach. So by all means, it's great to see the female cricket growing in Australia.
It is wonderful, and of course we know, when it comes to competition, they can be more competitive than men. So it's wonderful to see that Shaurabh Cricket is providing the training for the females there as well. Okay, so there's two areas where people always look at. One is when we looked at the women's right and women's coming, females coming into cricket, and the other area where people always concerned about is the kids. So because they are our future, so training them. So do you think that cricket is for kids who don't want to get to an international level but want to play it as a sport? And if so, what can these kids learn from cricket?
Absolutely. As last time we were discussing about this as well, that cricket teaches a lot of life skills. It teaches a player to contribute in an atmosphere where the purpose is similar. It teaches them how to have a healthy competition, respect other players, respect their own team players and the referees. It also brings a lot of responsibility, like turning up on time, discipline, loyalty. These are so many virtues that you learn while playing cricket. And keeping things in perspective, like controlling things that they can control, and playing in their own capabilities.
And that is a very good trait to have, is controlling yourself as you control the game, having the team atmosphere that everyone together can do a little bit more, and as opposed to many sports where individual plays as an individual, and we have seen sometimes, without taking names, sometimes some behavior which is very antisocial. So when they are in this team environment, and if they get a proper coaching, I think that is a very good way forward. Okay, so right now, as we know, Lent has begun, so which means that it's going to lead us to Easter. So, what are the plans for Easter holidays, for the cricket clinic?
No new, same. We run holiday programs throughout the year. They say that a difference between a professional cricket and a village cricketer is that the life of a professional cricket revolves around cricket, whereas other cricket, a village cricketer is revolving around. They have little bit cricket, but it doesn't revolve around cricket. So for us, it's cricket again. So Easter holidays, we are running few high performance holiday clinics, academies. So we are planning to run a 3-day camp or clinic in northern suburbs of Brisbane around 6th to 8th of April, and then again the week after, following week in 15th to 17th of April, there will be in the western suburbs or southern suburbs, we are running another clinic.
So that is wonderful that during Easter, because at this point in time with COVID and everything like that, people will not be traveling a lot as they normally do. So it will be a good time to utilize those 3 days there to come in for the practice. So when we look at these games, any match that's played, it also revolves around the people and of course the mental capabilities as well, apart from just the physical. About physical fitness is very important, of course, but even physical fitness revolves around mental skills. So does Shaurabh Cricket coach use mental skills to train young cricketers?
By all means, in Shaurabh Cricket coaching, we do teach them mental skills. It's very core of our teaching. Some techniques we use, for some cricketers, it's more of some relaxing techniques for them if they get anxious on the game day, or for some, it's more of arousal techniques where kids don't want to play not to switched on first thing in the morning. So we use that. It helps them to help their nerves and play during the game.
And of course, the getting onto the nerves and the mental skills is very, very important. So, looking at all these the tips that you have, developed. So, could you tell our audience some tips that players can use to maybe evaluate performance about their game?
Yeah, I usually tell parents that most players are their own hardest critics. They sometimes are not satisfied with their performance and always want to strive for better. So as the parents are driving their child from home and back from the game, I request them to be a very patient listener, listen to their kids and just focus on the positives.
And it is always focusing on the positive which gets people ahead in life. It's always that mental attitude, the can-do attitude that comes through, and that evaluation, as you said, is very, very important. Of course, now, sorry.
It also helps them to also reflect that what they could have done better rather than thinking about the failure, because a lot of time fear of failure, pressure of performance, so often guys are scared of failing and go into that negative mindset, which causes them to tense up and forget what they have practiced, and that be more focused on the process rather than the result. So that's why it's very important for them to be and play the cricket they want to and enjoy themselves.
And that is very important as well. Quite well put there, Shaurabh, because sometimes as the destination is quite good, but of course you also need to enjoy the journey. So, okay, of course, there are many times off-season. So what do you offer off-season training squad?
Yeah, so off-season, basically, now that we go into the winter, cricket season finishes and many kids go and play other sports. For cricket, what we do, and pre-season starts in August. So before pre-season, we have off-season training, we call it. So in that, we have a off-season training squad that begins around June, 3 months before the pre-season, and we focus on the mental side of things, strength, conditioning, agility, and the proprioceptive skills, and along with that we do technical skills as well. And it's actually very good time for kids or for the boys to focus on their technical skills, so that once they are into pre-season they can focus more on the game side of the things.
And that is very important as well. The famous old saying that goes that a summer's body is made in winter. So that means when people go out on the beach and display their body, they have worked all winter inside the gym to get that body. So that is very, very, very important what you have just mentioned there, the off-season training. Okay, so all our listeners and audience who are listening now or viewing our show, how can they register with Shaurabh Cricket Coaching?
You can book sessions or holiday camps with us on our website by simply visiting our website saurabhcricketcoaching.com. You can call us on 0422 397838. We continue one-to-one and small group coaching throughout the year.
Shaurabh, once again, thank you very much for being on the show and sharing that information with us. As we know, so many people out there taking so much interest in cricket. So it is wonderful that you're providing this platform, especially for the kids, and the emerging players. And of course, also now that we can see that the ladies and female girls coming in as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing us this opportunity to get the message out. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The kids like this whole setup very much because we've known Shaurabh for a while now, and they've learned good things from him, especially the skills. I like Shaurabh's coaching. The reason being, he goes into the basics. Even if a child is 5 years, which is my younger son, or he's 8.5 or 9 years, which is my older son, slightly more advanced, but he still focuses on the basics for both of them. although their skill levels is different, he ensures that the basic is covered well. And this he does in a very friendly manner. So both these guys over the last few days have been pestering me that they want the whole of the camp. So during the summer holidays they've done 9 full days. We had other arrangements. We were planning to go to the theme parks, which they have cancelled. They don't want to go to it. They want to come to cricket. So that says for itself, I think, that Shaurabh is so good with children, and the whole idea of coaching them is really great.
I had both my two sons come to Shaurabh Cricket Coaching, where they went to both camps. They've been to 9 days of cricket. And the best part of the camp was the fact that not only they learned about cricket skills, but they learned really valuable life skills on how to be part of a team, how to appreciate other people's effort, how to strive to get better, how to play fair. And the thing that I enjoyed most seeing them was that they came away with some really good philosophies on cricket as well, that Shaurabh and Bhumika taught them about how to play fair and how to play in the spirit of the game. And I think that's a really important aspect of them growing up.
Also, now that we can see that the ladies and female girls coming in as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing us this opportunity to get the message out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the interview with Shaurabh Kumar of Shaurabh Cricket, and of course, it is wonderful to see that the training is not only focused on the sport itself, but it's on the mind, it's on the leadership as well, and how to act in a team. So it is wonderful to see that. Well, right now, before we finish off, let's take a very quick look at functions and events that are taking place in and around Brisbane.
doing everything they can to fix that up as quickly as they can. And in relation to schools, we had 7 state schools closed today and up in that region, and 32 from the Catholic and Independent. So we'll be keeping people updated. Please make sure you're continuing to get continue to get the updates from the Bureau. And the other information that the Bureau said to me is that they're also expecting some severe storms this afternoon around the southeast, and they'll be issuing warnings if that does gather momentum. There could be some hailstorms there as well. So I think all in all, the information coming from the Bureau was good. I had a meeting this morning with the Bureau, the State Disaster Coordinator, who gave us that up-to-date information. Okay, so now I want to talk about Populous. Now, timing is everything, they say, and what a great day to be here, to be able to share in the opening of the Asia Pacific headquarters for Populous, and we know that this firm has expertise when it comes to building stadiums and making sure that they are exporting around the globe. And to have the Asia Pacific headquarters located right here in Brisbane is really making its stamp, and I really want to thank Paul for his invitation to come along today. It's also great to be joined by the Minister for Education. It's also Grace's local electorate, and we also have Harvey here and Natalie Cook. So, of course, ideally positioned for the future, and there is a real buzz around town. There's a buzz around Queensland when it comes to hope and opportunity as we come out of COVID and we look towards the future and what our state can present for an Olympics 2032. Now, Populous has also had great experience and expertise with the London Olympics and also with the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. And I personally have been to Tokyo in the past and seen the construction of those stadiums. But now there is a new norm that the Olympic Committee have put out. Now, that new norm means we don't need those big grand stadiums of the past. We need functioning stadiums that can be used as a legacy, and that is exactly what we'll be focusing on. And we have a lot of existing venues, and we know that over the next few months and years we need to work on those missing pieces. So today is a great day. It's wonderful to see 100 staff working here, local jobs, and the great capacity that this organisation has to be firmly seated right here in Queensland as we embark on that Olympic dream of 2032. So I might hand over to Paul to say a few words, and then Harvey and Natalie, you want to say a few words? So, thanks.
Thank you, Premier. We're very proud to open the new Asia Pacific headquarters for our firm here in Brisbane today. 80% of our work is in fact export, and we're proud Queensland creative exporters in the design industry throughout Asia from here. We've been fortunate to actually have been involved in many Olympics and also to have a lot of experience and lessons from those Olympics. The Olympics is an extraordinary opportunity for any city. It's an opportunity to actually place that city within its overall region and place that city within the world itself. This is a great opportunity for hope, as the Premier says, for the future. It's a positive thing both in terms of social infrastructure, it's a positive thing in terms of sports participation, health and community, to bring the community together for the Olympics. It's a wonderful opportunity, and credit to the government for actually having the foresight and the hard work that it takes to get Brisbane to this position. It takes a lot of hard work to become an Olympic city, and we know that Brisbane, South East Queensland and Queensland is more than ready for that challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Well done. The only thing better than putting on a green and gold uniform with our maroon jersey on underneath is to play in a stadium designed by Populous, or a venue on the beach designed by Populous. So the athletes of today getting ready for Tokyo are very excited, but those that are most excited are our young kids, Grace in the education system, that have a new sparkle in their eye as they set their sights on the opportunity for a potential home Olympic Games in Brisbane 2032. So my daughter at the age of 5 even ran faster as she wanted to go to school on Thursday morning as we spoke about the opportunity that presents to Brisbane. Premier, congratulations to you and the government for the foresight to bring the largest sporting event in the world to Brisbane, Queensland. And as the Premier said, the new norms of the International Olympic Committee allow the Olympics to fit into our future city, allow the Olympics to knit in and blend in and not leave big white elephant stadiums like we may have seen in the past. So it's an exciting time, from infrastructure to tourism to school kids coaches, the high performance system for the Queensland Academy of Sport, and everyone in Queensland has a buzz about it today. And our regions. We'll see camps, swim camps this year for Cairns. We'll see athletics camps for Townsville and all the way up and down the coast. It's an important Queensland opportunity, and we look forward to taking the Olympics into schools every day through our Olympics Unleashed program as well. So, of course, we cannot forget the Paralympians. There will be, it's not just a 2-week Olympic event or a 12-day Paralympics. It's a decade of opportunity for our state, for our athletes, and we look forward to the next phase of the bidding opportunity. So thanks and congratulations to Populous.
How do you follow Nat's enthusiasm? Thank you, and thank you, Premier, for inviting me to say a few words. You know, Populous to us are like our brothers. They're like our family. There's not many places in the world where you find a real concentration of experience and a long history in a particular sector of the business. There are some, but for sports venues and entertainment venues, it's Brisbane, Queensland. And both our company and Populous have worked side by side for many years. We've been involved in operating venues in Olympic Games, in Rio de Janeiro, in Beijing, in Sydney, in London. We have venues for Paris and for Los Angeles, and now for Brisbane. I mean, you know, that is just a fantastic opportunity. And for the young people who work for us, the ability to be able to work on the Olympic Games, that is just a cracker. It's not just for people who work for us, though. It's for people right across the city. And the Premier said this morning about how there was a buzz in the city. Well, there is a buzz. And I know there's a design buzz going on as well. There are people rethinking their thoughts and what if we did this and what about that? I think the things you're going to see that the government will have an opportunity to announce over the next 12 months really are going to blow people's minds. At the moment, I think there's been an expectation that we're going to win this. We deserve to win it, and the government have set this up really well for the city and for the state. But now we've got to take it that next step. And I think Brisbane is really lucky to have Populous based here with such a strong pool of talent. So I'm looking forward to it, and congratulations, Paul, on your new premises. Thank you. Thank you, Premier. Any questions?
This is coming live from Populous new headquarters, which is right next to our office. It's on the corner of McCrossan Street and Adelaide Street, and if you go past there, you'll see the big, huge screen, and you'll also see all the stadiums that they've built around the world. And of course, when I did the Tri-Nation delegation with the Premier, we went to India, China, and Japan. Populous was part of that.
Which is the subject of the work that needs to be submitted to the Olympic Committee. And we are now having to finalise those venues. So we'll be looking at that very clearly. We know that we do need a swimming venue. So there are options there about utilising a potential Brisbane Live for swimming. But there are discussions that are ongoing with Brisbane Live about that. And of course, we were at Roma Street yesterday, where we are now doing the master planning of what that site would look like above ground. So there's a lot of work that's happening there.
What about the main stadium?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of options that we are looking at there, whether we utilise existing stadiums.
Gentlemen, we'll leave you with that. It's question time. That is taking some questions there. And it's wonderful to see you and have your company on this show. It's always so good to see you. And don't forget that tomorrow we'll bring the real estate update with Usha Chandra. Then on Thursday we have the travel updates. And of course on Friday we will have Ravi Kes and the team here to talk about the upcoming show at BMAC. So once again, it's goodbye from me from this segment. Until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of the day. Most importantly, be safe.